bending over at the waist, going for the groin. And you have to move the hips to be able to go for the groin, driving that elbow straight up, and now you're driving that elbow straight into me. Yes, yes. And then as you gain more space, you follow up with more counterattacks, or you use that space to get away.
So today we're talking about bear hugs because they are a real fear for women, and being the bear hug itself is not what is the scary part. It's the being picked up and taken somewhere, forced to do something that you don't want to do.
This woman is in the fight of her life. It happened as she headed home. A crazed man pulls her to the ground right outside her apartment building. You can see the female concierge in the lobby reacting instantly, calling 911. And she doesn't stop there. She rushes over to help. It's a terrifying struggle. Finally, the victim kicks the bad guy away and crawls into the lobby. Now she and the concierge are in a tug of war with the attacker.
What we're going to do today is we're going to discuss some options to different types of bear hugs, right? But we're also going to talk about how to not get bear hugged in the first place. This is a very important component in all self-defense is yeah, you want to have an answer for when things get really bad, but you also want to have an answer that maybe you spend a little bit more time on to keep it from getting to that point to begin with.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is going to be the preventative measures. Now, when it comes to any type of like hands-on situation, space is going to be your friend. After you've gotten vocal, and if I'm still coming in towards you, you have different ranges of hands-on, right? You have leg range, you have hand range, and then you have grappling range, like super close range, right? So as I'm coming closer, I'm stepping into each one of these ranges. And the first range that I'm going to reach myself into is going to be that leg range. So if I'm still coming and you've already said stop, the first thing that you would probably want to do is do some sort of stop kick, right? And as I'm coming in, you can throw the kick to the leg, kick to the knee. If need be, you could also throw the kick to the groin. Two things that you want to remember about that is that first thing, my hands are going to come up, right? Yeah. Because now we're already engaged. I need to be able to follow back with whatever I need to, whatever the situation calls for. The second thing is having that exit route. Because if I'm coming in and you land that really awesome kick, right? And I hesitate or I buckle or, you know, the kick does its job, you want to get away as quickly as possible. Because you don't want to sit here and just try to go hand to hand with me. You don't want to sit here and try to box me. As I'm coming in and you nail that kick, bam, you want to start thinking about getting away. If for some reason I'm able to get closer to you, right? You want to think about what you can do with your hands, because I've already gotten in a range that stops the legs, right? And this next one is also kind of two-part, because it also provides you with a softer solution. If for some reason you don't want to hurt the person, right? So,
well, and he means, so if it's some stranger, it's a dark alley or a parking garage or something, obviously you don't care if you hurt him. But if you're at a party and some guy's drunk and he's like trying to pick you up and you're like, don't pick me up, and he's like, oh, I'm drunk, I'm not listening to you, you can do this one and you won't hurt it. I mean, it'll hurt, but you won't injure him, and then he'll hopefully get the picture, like, don't mess with her kind of thing.
What you're going to do here is you're just going to place your hand on the sternum, and with the middle finger and the pointer finger, or the middle finger and the ring finger, I'm going to poke into this little V portion of the throat, and I'm going to push straight back. And now what this does is it kind of jams up the throat a little bit. It's very, very uncomfortable, and it provides you with that space. If I'm here and she's really, really, really strong, and I'm just holding my hand on the sternum, and she puts a lot of pressure in, it turns into a muscle fight. But if I take those fingers and just jam straight back, I don't really even have to try that hard. And it gives me that space and that distance, and I also get her attention, and I need all of those things. So now I'm gonna have her put her hand on my sternum, and I'm just gonna kind of give her this pressure. So now from here, she's just gonna jam those. It makes my eye water.
Practice that on somebody.
Somebody
there's a little tension with.
Again, this could also be used as a soft solution, right? Because maybe you are one of those people that I don't necessarily want to hurt, but I need to set those boundaries and I need to enforce those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So as they're coming in, you know, whatever, drunk guy at a party, and I'm like, no, but oh, It makes them think twice about what it was that they were trying to go in for.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I want to talk about is, so far we've been going over frontal. Now I want to talk about somebody coming up behind you. So if somebody is coming up behind you, the principle is still the same. I'm still stepping into that leg range. And you can initiate by giving that stop kick, right? So you can either look over the shoulder or you can look under the arm. Now, the reason why we bring both of these up is because they each have their place. If I'm looking over at the shoulder, it kind of already sets me up to be able to turn into you and continue. Because of the body motion, I have to kind of open my hips a little bit. That gives me a really nice side kick, and then I'm able to turn around and confront the rest of the threat.
Yeah.
If I look under the arm, you notice my hips still kind of stay in the same place. They open a little bit, but not much. Once I throw that kick, I can use that as a way to get more distance, to get away, right? That should be the ultimate goal, but maybe sometimes you don't have that opportunity to get away. If you have kids with you, right? If you're in a room where there's not an exit and you have to turn and fight, right? These are the things that you want to think about. So if I have to turn and fight, I like to look over the shoulder, right? And me personally being a guy, which I know is out of the purview of this video, that would be my option, right? But if for some reason you need to get away, you just want to get away and you have that ability, I would look right up underneath the arm, throw that kick, and use that as a way to get out. Now, one of the things that you definitely want to think about when you're going to turn into the person is, I've already thrown my kick. As I'm turning around, I want to make sure that I bring my hands up, and I want to make sure that I'm pointing my palms towards you. And the reason being is if somebody's already starting to get a little bit of aggressive, and I throw that kick and I turn like we're about to just go 9 rounds, right? You get the idea that we're fighting, right?
It's like, oh, it's on.
It's on, exactly. And I want to keep that idea out of your head if I can, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, I'm going to throw that kick. As I'm turning around, I'm going to have my hands open, because this looks like, hey, man, I don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm trying to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah.
When in reality, I'm still just as prepared as if I was right here.
Yeah.
My hands are open. I can strike if I need to, right? I can defend if I need to. I can grab if I need to.
Yeah.
Right? I have all these options. I'm not losing anything, but it looks like I don't want to do this. So one of my issues with Krav is that sometimes I think they tend to overcomplicate things. And part of that reasoning is because they had to make a system out of something that's very, very basic and very, to the point. And so you have to have 4 years of material, right? So people can rank and all that kind of crap. And bear hugs is one of the things that I think they tend to overcomplicate. You have 17 different variations of a bear hug.
He really means 6.
Well, it's more than that, because you have from the side. No, it's more than that.
There's more than 6?
Yeah, you have 6 basic ones, right?
Okay.
So just kind of illustrate, you have bear hug from the front with your arms free. You have bear hug from the front with your arms caught. You have bear hug from the side right here. You have bear hugs from the rear, high with your arms caught. You have bear hug from the rear, low with your arms caught. You have bear hug from the front, high with your, you get the point? It's grossly overcomplicated. And as you and I have talked about before, I would say that some of it is maybe not as realistic, because think about the terms of the bear hug, right? I'm going to try to do one of two things. I'm either going to try to pick you up, or I'm going to try to take you down.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people that are going to come up and be like, there you go, right? The momentum is either going forward, up, or down.
Yeah.
Right? I'm either driving forward, right? I'm trying to pick you up,
yeah,
or I'm trying to take you down, right? And I think that if you're going to be teaching yourself to defend off of these things, you should probably put yourself in the positions where it's a little bit more realistic, right? So that's kind of where I would like to take this, is this is where we're kind of getting off the Krav train a little bit.
Yeah.
We're still going to use some of the principles and stuff like that, but this is not going to be Krav Maga. Like, you're not going to be able to test with this kind of crap.
Yeah, if you want to do the testing, I'm sure there's bear hug videos out there.
Oh,
Or there's
so many of them.
Yeah.
So many of them. So under the guise of I'm trying to take you down, right? We're going to play with arms caught first, and then I'm going to try to drive through and take you down. Now, and actually I'm going to have you do it on me. We're going to kind of walk and talk, and then I'll show you, right? So as you're coming in, right, if you're going to try to take me down, the worst thing that I could do is give you my hips. If I give you my hips and you can already see my posture right now, I'm already down. Like there's no fighting back against that.
Yeah.
So if you're coming over my arms, first thing that I want to do is I want to create this space. I have to get my hips away from yours, right? You control my hips, I'm on the ground. So as this is coming over, I want to try to give myself this space. Now, because this is more of a combative type thing, I'm not going to sit here and try to take you down or grapple you or anything like that, which isn't bad, but that's not what I'm going for. From here, I'm going to create this space, and I'm immediately going to start counterattacking.
Yeah.
Right? I'm fighting my way off of this. Along the thought line of creating that space, it's going to be really hard for you to get your arms all the way around me. So if I'm coming up and I'm trying to grab and you immediately create this space, I'm not going to be able to get this bear hug on you. And this is about the best position for this split second that you could possibly be in, right? Now from here, because the bear hug is no longer that issue, you can start coming in with your counterattacks. You can go for knees, headbutts, everything, right? And again, this is one of those things where it's, you know, it's kind of time to turn up the aggression a little bit, right? I've already tried to put my hands on you. I've already tried to do this. We're already physically engaged. So with you being smaller and weaker and all of that kind of stuff, you want to start overwhelming me with aggression. So I'm here, you create that space. Now you start counterattacking. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Now, same thing with the arms free, right? If I'm coming here and I'm trying to drive, right, the last thing that you want to do is give me those hips.
Yeah.
Because if you give me those hips, you're down, right? So you want to shoot those hips out again. So from here.
What am I doing with my arms?
So if you're coming up, so if you're coming in on me, go ahead and go. Here.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if you're really slick to where you go ahead and grab, then I'm going to try to clench down on this, drop the elbows, and create that space with the hips.
So you're saying there's a timeline on that too?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're going and my arms are free, and I'm either hands or
and you
or
can
forearms, you're saying, okay, so.
And you can take your hands to the inside of my shoulders here, right? Because if you go like towards the top of my shoulders,
I can miss.
I can still grab.
Oh, okay.
If you go on the inside of my shoulders, kind of more towards my armpits, I can't.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you're really quick, you can go to the inside of the elbows, and now, like, I can't.
Okay.
I can turn this into more of a grappling match, but you're already hitting me, right?
Yeah.
Now, if your awareness absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. And I'm able to get there. So, and I'm here, right? And for some reason, I do get kind of closer to the hips. You got to be quick, but you're going to start going for the head. Does that make sense? So if I'm here and I'm here, exactly. Now, to get a little bit more technical with this, what you're doing is you're taking your thumbs straight up to my eyes. So what we're going to do is, and I'm going to walk and talk, is you're going to come in for that grab. I wasn't able to create that distance that I wanted to. Your turn. I wasn't able to create that distance that I wanted to. So from here, I'm going straight to the eyes. I'm peeling the head back. As I start getting space for the head, I'm going to start throwing in counterattacks. It's really hard to take somebody down when their thumbs are in your eye sockets. So if I'm trying to lift you up from the front, and me personally, that's probably not necessarily the one that I would go for. But I mean, you never know.
As an attacker?
As an attacker.
Oh, it's a fear for me because that's like picking you up. Like, that's how I pick up my kids and put them over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like,
a couple things are going to happen. If your feet start to leave the ground, you want to anchor yourself some way so you stop that momentum from going higher. Does that make sense? So what you're going to do is you're going to take one foot, doesn't matter which one, and then you're going to kind of wrap it around their leg, and you're going to hook that heel in to the back of their leg as easily or as efficiently as you can. So we're going to try to do this standing, and I'm going to try to keep me from having to pick you up 700 times and you having to pick me up 700 times, right? So what I'm going to do is that as I'm going up, I'm wrapping around here.
okay.
Right? What that's going to do is that's going to make it to where you can't lift me up anymore. So we'll try that just right now, okay? So I'm going to Try to lift you up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That. Yep. See, I can't get you any higher than this.
Okay. So I guess the fear for me is like, it's almost like a double leg takedown.
Yeah.
Like instead of a bear hug, it's more like this. And then, but then I'm going up on the shoulder.
Okay.
Like that's what my fear is. So how do I mean, other than what we've already done, which are like the defenses to what? Double leg takedown.
Yeah. Yeah. And keep your hips back. Redirect.
Okay. What if I'm on your shoulder? And I know your back is hurting and you probably don't really want to pick me up. But...
I don't. Pee on them. We don't appreciate that joke?
I don't appreciate that joke. He doesn't really mean that. He means...
So that's in reference to some years back.
A bunch of liberals said the way that you should do self-defense instead of fighting back is to pee on them, and it would make you unattractive, and therefore they wouldn't want to attack you. But it's bullshit, because attacks are not about being pretty or not, or attractive.
And the funny thing is, I've actually heard other people telling me that if they were attacked, that they would pee on them. And right then and there, I just stopped talking to them, because it's like, there's no point in continuing this conversation. But
we have two different premises.
Yes.
Okay, so
if I'm coming in for that double leg and I'm trying to, yes, you have to stop me from getting your hips. Now, if I'm going in for the double leg, I'm not picking you up. I'm taking you down. I'm not going to come in.
No, but I'm saying, well, but you could. Like, you could come in and, like, pick me up like this, can't you?
Huh?
That's...
Well, yeah. I mean,
how else would you pick me up? Yeah.
Fight.
Huh?
Fight.
Okay, so say, let's just say she's really small. She's tried to do what we've already told her, and you're like a lot closer. Like this didn't come in on. Like this didn't work because she's small or like slipped, right? Or it slipped off your shoulders because she missed, and you're about to pick her up.
So if I'm down in this position here,
yeah,
and I'm about to pick him up,
yes,
you need to go into straight fight for your fucking life mode.
Okay.
And I apologize for the language, but not really all that much. Because this is one of those types of situations where the situation has gotten really, really serious really quick. Now you're in the spots where it's like, if you don't start fighting like your life depends on it, chances are you're going to be in a situation that you really, really don't want to be in. So if you've tried this and it didn't work, and then you try to control the arms and that didn't work, right here you should already be fighting. Like, you've already made that initial contact, and I assume, because we've talked about it, that you've already said, hey, you need to stop, all that kind of shit, right? So if I'm here and this didn't work, and then you go up to try to control the arms because I'm still going in and that didn't work, you should already be counterattacking. You should be fighting. You should be, from this position here, you should be headbutting and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay,
if
so let's go options.
If for some reason that I've gotten down in this position right here, that knee should be planted right in my face.
Oh, and I just saw this. I didn't even think about this.
The back of the neck is right there. Exactly.
It's really vulnerable, right? So an elbow to that would be...
Yeah, and you would want to keep them continuous.
Yeah.
So some organizations of Krav have this this principle called Retsev. And what this is that you are constantly flowing with attacks, one after the other, and you're not giving that other person a chance to breathe, much less do anything else. And that is what you should be doing. If somebody is trying to put their hands on you, regardless of your size, regardless of anything, you should be fighting back with the intent of, you are not going to touch me, right? So if I'm trying to come in and you've tried this and that didn't work, and I'm still trying to, if I'm still trying to come in, I have bad intent, and you should be fighting me as such. So as far as bear hug from the rear goes, really I kind of just want to touch on three main ones, and then we'll talk about the lift. The first main one is going to be low with the hands free, right? This is going to be the problem here. Now, this is going to be what happens when they start trying to lift you up, but we're going to try to catch it before then, right?
Sorry.
That's so cute. So I'm going to walk and talk this, and then we'll have you demonstrate it. From here, the first thing that I want to do is I want to kind of like hinge my hips, and I'm bringing my body weight forward here. What that's going to do, and if you're already standing kind of narrow-footed, so go ahead. If you're already standing kind of narrow-footed, I would say widen your base, and then I'm coming here.
Okay.
And what that does is it gets that body weight going forward. It's really hard to lift you from there. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. So
If you're straight up in the air and your feet are narrow and all that kind of stuff, I can lift you up pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you widen your base, you drop your weight, kind of hinge your hips back a little bit. And that way my weight is kind of going forward but down. It's really hard to lift. So let's demonstrate this real quick.
Okay.
If I'm here, you're just going to stand straight up. You're not going to do anything new.
Okay.
Right? If I'm here, that is very easy, right? If I'm here and you widen that base and you drop that weight, it's a little harder. I can get you there, but by that time you already hit me in the face. Hopefully, if you keep watching this video and do this right.
Okay.
So,
okay, let's stay on that side.
So from here, once that comes on, I'm widening my base, bringing my body weight forward. I'm taking my hands and I'm placing them down on her hands here. Because I don't want this to ride up, I want to control the hands here. Okay. From here, there's going to be a series of elbows. I'm going to go 1. If for some reason you move your head toward the back so I don't hit it, then I'm going to come around with that other one. And then I'm going to come back with 1 more just to make sure. Now, if that starts loosening your hands up because I done hit you with like 3 elbows, then I'm going to take one of those elbows and I'm going to turn in and follow up with more counterattacks.
Okay.
If for some reason you have you're a little bit educated, you have your head buried in my back, maybe I got you with 1 elbow, but it wasn't enough to loosen the hands. What I'm going to do from there is I'm going to make C's with my hands. I'm going to start at about mid forearm and I'm going to roll down until I catch a finger. Once I get that finger, I'm going to make it bend the way it's not supposed to. I'm going to peel back with my whole body.
Ow!
Just like that. I'm stepping out towards the side, still keeping this finger. I'm going to pull you in, and I'm going to start firing counterattacks from there.
Okay.
Now, you can let go of the finger kick and run away. I'm going to break every bone in that hand, me personally. But obviously, there's a difference.
I'll probably do a few counterattacks
and then run away.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be the safest bet. Right?
I'm going to drop
that weight so I can't lift her up. She's checking my hands to make sure that they don't go anywhere else. Right? She's going to spin. She's going to go straight back with 1 elbow. If my head's up, that's awesome because now you're just going to pinball my head. So bam, bam, right? If you need one of those elbows and the hands start loosening up, you're going to follow that elbow. No, come back.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm here, right, you got the weight and all that kind of stuff, you're checking the hands, you're going to throw an elbow. If for some reason my head's pinballing off these elbows, 2, 3, and my hands loosen up, you're going to turn into that elbow. Yes. Throw a couple more counterattacks just to make sure I don't re-engage, and then you're going to use that to get space. Okay. Right? So even if I'm just the slightest bit educated, and we're in the same position, right? And I bury my head because I already feel you moving, and you throw those elbows, and maybe you catch one, right?
Yeah.
From here, you're going to make big C's with your hands. You're going to go about mid-forearm.
Wait, C's? Okay.
You're going to go about mid-forearm. You're going to go all the way down the arm until you catch a finger. You're going to peel that finger up. You're going to make it bend the way it's not supposed to, using your whole body to turn, right? And then you're going to, there you go. Exactly. In this process, one of the things that I tell everybody that I train is that the defending the grab and following up with counterattacks is just a very, very small part of what could be the situation that you're in. If you're able to follow up with a couple of counterattacks and get that space and get away, that's awesome. That's like best case, well, second best case scenario. Best case scenario is not getting there in the first place. Second best case scenario is you don't have to go toe to toe, right? Worst case scenario is you do this, you turn, I'm mentally impaired. I can't feel pain the way that other people feel. You've already bent my hand in all those kind of weird ways and I'm still fighting, right? You may have to re-engage and finish the fight, right? And again, this is another one of those instances where I'm going to say that you need to be training because there is a difference in a self-defense scenario and a self-defense scenario turn fight, right?
Yeah.
If I really want you, for whatever reason that it is, and I grabbed you and you broke me a little bit and all that kind of stuff, but I'm impaired and I still really want you, you're going to have to fight me off. And that is a reality that you need to be aware of, is that just because I did this really cool bear hug defense and you know, maybe I even got out of it a little bit, there is a chance that you may have to follow up and follow up and follow up until this person is no longer an issue. And I don't mean like I'm sitting here like saying I'm going to tap out and don't want this anymore. I mean that you can safely get away without me coming after you.
Yeah.
Because I can play tricks. I can be deceptive and be like, oh, no, please don't do anything more. And then you stop, and then
There was that story.
Yeah, in Scaling Force by Roy Miller and Lawrence Kane. Yeah, there's that story.
The Tae Kwon Do instructor.
Yeah, the Tae Kwon Do instructor was running on a trail, and this guy decided that he was going to follow her. And so he followed her and tried to engage, tried to attack her. And she fought back, and they went round and round, and like she would get the upper hand, he would get the upper hand, and finally he was like, all right, I don't want to fight anymore. And so she stopped and didn't get away quick enough. And so he re-engaged after she had stopped, and ultimately tied her up in the woods, raped her, and then killed her. And the only reason why they know this is because they got him. They caught him. The cops caught him, and he told them about it. Told them exactly what he did. Yeah. I told her I give up. And so she stopped. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So you may have to follow up. And if you have to follow up, again, you follow up with every bit of ferocity and aggression that you have.
Yeah.
So 2 more that I want to talk about, and then we'll talk about the lift. One of them is going to be from the back, arms trapped, with it being kind of low, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is that it's at or lower than your elbows. And the other one is going to be higher than your elbows. So when we do this, right, and I'm grabbing lower than your elbows, this is really good because I'm trying to lift you up, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to keep me from lifting you up, what you're going to do is you're going to bend over at the waist, right? I can't really lift that up too much. So from here, you're going to move the hips, and you're going to go straight back to the groin. Bam. You might have to go to the other side because I might move my hips. So you go to the other side, straight back to the groin. Now from here, you're going to take one elbow, it doesn't matter which one, and you're going to shoot it straight up as if you were trying to elbow me in the face. And then from here, you're going to drive that elbow, and you're going to keep driving that elbow as you get more and more space.
So am I hitting, or I'm like pushing kind of with my...
No, I'm hitting. I'm always
hitting.
Attacking.
Elbow striking.
Yes.
Okay.
So one more time. Bending over at the waist, going for the groin. Then you have to move the hips to be able to go for the groin. Driving that elbow straight up, and now you're driving that elbow straight into me. Yes. And then as you gain more space, you follow up with more counterattacks, or you use that space to get away.
Okay. Well, and one thing that I do want to mention too is at the place I learned Krav, where I met you, they talked about a floppy hand. So for a groin strike like this, you want it to be a floppy hand. You're not trying to hit them. You're not trying to slap them. Apparently, it hurts more for men if it's up underneath, and so it's a floppy hand. So
and yeah, think of surface area, right? I want to cover the whole thing, right? So when I'm here, I'm going to go with that floppy hand, so I get up underneath and I get the whole groin, right? Because if I go straight in, right, there's a chance that it may not cause the damage that you're looking for. Like you said, going straight up, it hurts.
Although for a woman, I will say, for a woman, it hurts on the front and not up underneath as much.
So now I want to talk about from behind with the arms trapped, kind of more up high. Okay. So from here, the immediate damage, I'm not going to lift you up from here, obviously. One of the things that you do want to worry about, though, is it doesn't take much for me to start sliding my arms up to go into that choke. Yeah. Right? So from here, you want to kind of hook the hands. Exactly. So I can't really slide up. Now, you want to counterattack again to kind of loosen me up. So you're going to move your hips again. Whatever side you move your hips, you're going to drive that hand straight back. You can go once, twice, doesn't matter. I wouldn't sit there and stay there all day, but 1 to 2 is a good number. From here, keeping those hooks on the hands where you're at, you're going to flare those elbows out. You're going to shoot your hips to one side, and then you're going to step out and around, taking your head out of that hole. Keeping that control because it's going to make the counterattacking a lot easier for you. Exactly. Now from here, we got to be careful for the mic, but from here, if you grab me and I'm here and I've already gone straight back, whatever, and I go to flare out and I try to leave the hands, exactly. You find yourself in another rough situation, right? If I flare out and I step out and I do get my hands out, and I leave the hands, well, now you have all your weapons to come back into me. And I done hit you in the groin twice, you're probably a little upset, right? So from here, as I flare out and I step around, I'm going to keep those hands at least until I counterattack a couple of times, and then I'm going to use that to get away.
Okay.
All right, so last is going to be the bear hug with the lift. Now, again, if we've already gotten to that situation to where I'm that close and I'm lifting you up and you still haven't done anything, this is where it gets pretty bad. And what we're going to talk about, what we're going to show, I mean, it's not 100%. It's not foolproof. It does give you a little bit, and it abides by certain principles that will allow you to fight back. But again, you're already in a really tough situation, right?
Yeah.
So
this one isn't my favorite because I do feel like it's hard to pull off.
it is very hard to pull off. It is super hard to pull off, right? So from here, when I go for this lift, you have to try to keep me from thumping you on your head or lifting you up higher. So the first thing that you're going to do, and we're going to talk about it real quick before we go through it, because it's also kind of, it's difficult to pull off. It's difficult to pull off slow, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this leg around mine, and you're going to kind of hook that in and hold that. So I can't lift you up higher and all that other kind of stuff. You're going to take that other foot, and you're just going to kick it back like you're going to the groin, kicking it straight back. You're going to count on that to make me want to put you down. Right? And then you're going to follow up with whatever kind of bear hug defense the position is calling for, right? So we're going to go kind of slow-ish. Is once I'm here and I go to lift, she's going to hook and then kick.
So I've actually seen a fight between guys where one of them picked the other one up like that. And the one who was actually the better fighter was the one being picked up, and he landed on his head and got knocked out.
Yeah, doesn't take much.
No.
Doesn't take much at all.
That's what I hate about that.
Yes. I don't really even like teaching this because, again, if the situation has gotten to this point, I don't want to say that you're pretty much screwed. But
yeah, because you should
at
always fight. But
exactly. But you're at the level right below that, right? As soon as, if I'm in this position and my awareness sucks or whatever, as soon as the hands start going over, and so we'll go super slow motion. As soon as the hands are going over, I'm adjusting my body weight. I know some people are like, oh, well, you should just start counterattacking right off the bat. Here's the issue with that. Grab me as fast as you can. Okay. Now I'm acting a little bit, but you get the point. Hopefully you get the point. Nobody's that much of a ninja. I don't care how much you throw comments and saying, oh, I can pull that. No, you can't. Now, grab me as fast as you can. Now you can't pick me up.
Yeah.
You can try, but you can't pick me up. And now I can counterattack.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the difference. It's a lot easier to make the position more difficult for you than it is to just I don't know that I could lift you up right now. We're gonna try though. I did it from the front and I'm like, so what I'm gonna do,
lift those stones up.
my back hurts. My back hurts really bad, right? It's not because you're too heavy. I can lift those stones up and you weigh less than those stones. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that jiu-jitsu done messed me up, and now if I try to lift you up, I might end up on the ground and you could all that good stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's not, man, you're just trying to like, I'm not even digging a hole and you're like, here's a shovel.
Like, you want to use a shovel?
You should really dig right here.
Dishes done. Do you want the shovel?
You should really dig right here. You should dig right here. Here, I'll start it for you. Just keep going. I'm sitting here like, no.
Like, no, I don't want to do the dishes.
I don't want it. All right.
Do you get my joke?
Huh?
About doing the dishes?
No, I don't.
You got to dig a hole so that you feel bad so that you go do the dishes.
I got you. Ain't that what we got kids for? No, I'm just playing. All right.